So after a while, you realize it's just the mind chasing itself around in circles here. It's never going to be solved, and that's okay too. It doesn't mean you don't try to communicate. It means you try to really focus in that communication to be as effective as possible to yourself. And the only way I've ever done it, and it made any sense to me, is to bring it back into the body. And how can you bring an intelligence back into the body? Well, an intelligence, the only intelligence I would respond to in any kind of coherence would be the intelligence that brings health, happiness, joy, and bliss and well-being, plus everything else we're doing. But that would be the underlying quality of this, right? Well, consider the idea of AI taking over everything. Well, it's okay. There are things we don't need to do. What if you were free to explore your own self, for example, to really take the time to get to know this biological form that you, as a consciousness, are trying to inhabit? What if you had the time to really do that? Examine that. That's all that's going on here, guys. That's all that's ever been going on. You have, 57 trillion cells here working together in some kind of systems that all work through some biochemical coding that seems to be working. What are the limitations of that? What are the limitations of anything? Well, there's limitations and biological limitations. There's a certain number of synapses that can be trailed across a neurological basis of this, I would suspect. But we can find ways to recode this so it becomes much more direct connected to our intent of consciousness itself, which would be to discovering just who the hell is talking here and why is it being said at all. That kind of a framework, you know? Well, one would hope, and my hopes and prayers would be that it would bring a level of communication to ourselves, and myself especially, so I could examine my own thoughts, examine where these lead to, and are they helpful? And for my personal experience on this in my body, the answer is yes. They've been helpful. They've actually worked to a great degree, on a neurological, psychological, physical level. So for that reason, I think it's worth communicating. Just talking to myself here.